Now in this video we want to look at oxide. When we talk about oxide, we are talking about oxygen combining with another element. When oxygen combine with another element, they form what we call oxide. Do you get that? Oxygen combining with another element, they form what we call oxide. Now we have different types of oxide. Are you following? Different types of oxide. So the one we are going to look at today is number one. We have basic oxide. Basic oxide. Now when we talk about basic oxide, is when metal, more especially for the group 1 and group 2 elements, when metal combine with oxygen, they form what we call basic oxide. I repeat, when metal combine with metal, we are just looking at group 1 and group 2, okay? Metal combining with the oxygen, they form what we call basic oxide. For example, we have MgO. MgO is what? And a basic oxide, because Mg is a metal combining with what? Oxygen, they form what we call basic oxide. We have another example as Na2O. Is another example of what? Basic oxide. We have K2O, is another example of what? Another example of basic oxide. We have CaO, we have LiO. All these one are all example of what? Basic oxide. It means that why are they basic? It's because when these compound react with water, they form what we call base. Watch out. Like let's look at this. Let's take example. Like now we have Na2O plus H2O. They react to form what we call NaOH2. Do you get that? So now this is a base. Okay, so when these are oxide react with water, they form what we call base. That is why they are called basic oxide. Is that understood? Now let's proceed to the next one. The next one is acidic oxide. Acidic oxide 2. Acidic oxide. Acidic oxide, when non-metal, this one is non-metal, when non-metal react with oxygen, they form what we call what? Acidic oxide. Non-metal reacting with acid reacting with water, they form what we call acidic oxide. You get that? So for example, we have CO2. CO2 is a practical example of what? Acidic oxide. We have SO2, we have SO3, we have N5O10, and so on. So we have all these ones are all acidic oxide. It means that when this compound react with water, they form what we call what? Acid. For example, let's look at this one. For example, we have CO2 plus H2O, give you what? H2CO3. You get that? So this is weak acid. Okay, so this is an example. This thing is all acid. Okay, so when these are oxide, when these compound react with water, they form what we call acid. That is why they are called acidic oxide. You get that? Now let's look at the next one. The next one is amphoteric oxide. Amphoteric oxide. Amphoteric oxide is oxide that have the property of acid and base. Okay, the oxide, they are this oxide that when you dissolve them in water, they have the property of acid and base. Okay, now example of these oxide is aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide. We have zinc oxide. We have tin oxide. We have lead oxide, and so on and so forth. Even chromium oxide. Chromium oxide is another example. More especially oxide of transition metal. They are all amphoteric oxide. Do you get that? So all these one are amphoteric oxide. When you dissolve them in water, they give the characteristics of acid and what and base. Then let's look at the last one. Number 4, we have neutral oxide. Neutral oxide. This neutral oxide is neutral. It does not have the property of acid and base. So when you dissolve this oxide in water, it does not have any effect. Okay, it doesn't look like an acid, it doesn't look like a base. That is why it's called neutral oxide. Example of neutral oxide, we have water. Water is an example, a practical example of what? A neutral oxide. Are you following? We also have CO, carbon monoxide, is a practical example of what? A neutral oxide. We have N2O is another example. We have NO is another example of what? Neutral oxide. All these one are example of what? Neutral oxide. Do you get that? So all this one, you just know it basics in your exams. For those who are still writing, please just watch this video so that any question that come out from here, you just crush it without not waste of time. Thank you for very much for always watching my video. I love you so much. Best wishes in your exams. Bye bye.